I've had people, always have people unsubscribing and subscribing. Have people unsubscribe. I went up to 317 subscribers so many times. At least 3 times, maybe 4 times. I watch it go 317, 316, 317, 316, 315, 316, 317, 315. People unsubscribing. Oh, there's a sign. That's an indicator of wild right there. See that? For sure. They must have been out here. The chickens got ingrained, a bunch of it, but a bunch of it still come up. You see them little green patches. This is that area by the back side of my building that was nothing but really tall, thorny briars everywhere. And I've got some bunching onions that have come up, some grain that's come up in some different places. I've been tilling a lot of the soil up and shaping it. I'm not dead set on none of the design yet. It could change between here and there. I wanted to keep this corridor open to walk through here, but the way I am and I like to plant so much, I was thinking, well, I could put 3 rows there spaced out. I could walk in between that and still plant something in that space. See, I've began to make a few more rows here and there and till up spaces and mulch places. I'll stay on the outside edge. I'll show it this way. So here's this area. I got another big circle like that. I make them circles by putting one end of the rake on the ground and drawing a circle, keeping that one space in the same space. That'll make a circle. Then I take on the outside of that circle I just drew, I put that edge and I go around that circle and I go around that another time, and by the time I've done that, it'll make a circle about this size. So got the grain down there and a few little patches. Didn't have much seed. I'm really just growing it to build up my seed supply. And I mulched this area here, and my bees are fine, but it's reconnecting. This is that place when I got done making the coal and chicken manure, and but here the wind caught some of the fire a few days ago, and it burned off a good bit more than I intended on burning off. Oops. I did have all that dirt dug around the building. I didn't have any fruit trees, bees, chicken. I didn't lose nothing. It really turned out to be a good thing, really, because I can get in here and with the machete, I've chopped most of the briars down. There was standing briars everywhere like this right here. And I haven't got them all yet, but I was able to walk through here. You see them standing up over there. I've chopped a lot of them down. I'm going to chop all of them down. And I went under some of these hardwood trees and trimmed them a little further down. You know, there were branches up and down on there. I can get some firewood. I trimmed that tree a little bit. But I'll clean up this area. These pines have got to go. There's plenty of pines further back in the triangle. And this will probably be a lot of citrus trees planted in this area. But you see this fire went all the way pretty close to the bees. I kind of wish it would have burned all that out too, but it need to keep burning. It needed. Now, earlier, I made a video. It's going to take it forever to load. But I was showing, you know, you can gently work with these bees And I knew it would cool down. They would move away from the top of the entrance so I wouldn't have to squish them. I never squish any bees. I'm very careful about that. That keeps them friendly. They get unfriendly when you go killing them. They send out a pheromone. I scraped some propolis off of the top inner cover, and I can mix that propolis, wax, and charcoal and make a glue. But I'll post that video. There's not much to the video because it was cold. I didn't want to really open it all up and the bees get too cold. I just had to switch the inner covers over for the winter time because when they ball up in that cluster, there's a lot of moisture there, and you don't want them to be wet and cold. So the inner covers make settings, one for the summer and one for the winter. And I switched this over, put the lid down, but then when I went to put the lid on that other one, they were all, I knew they would go to cluster up, and then I put the lid on. No bees died today in the bee inspections. But see how flames got? These bees didn't die from that. It was so cold when that happened that all the bees were in the bee box. But, they bring out their dead bees in the bee box. Because before I get all that chopped out, it's more when I start. So some of the limbs I trimmed off the hardwoods I was talking about. And then, this side goes right to the garden. And then my garden used to be up here on the hill. But what I done is, I had a bunch of peas, squash, corn, all kind of vegetable garden used to be up here. And since the ground had already been tilled and already been fertilized, all the grass and weeds and all was out of the way. I just planted fruit trees, lavender all throughout here. The bees will love it. All these blueberry bushes, bees will love it. All these blueberry bushes. Blueberry bushes will get cloned. Blueberry bushes, there's several different varieties of blueberry here because they need a different cross with and I'll place them in nice even rows with all the varieties laid. That's just like not bonsai trees, but cut shorter and growing shorter and do a lot of grafts over there and everything. But it'll be more organized and straight rows. That part of the fruit trees, they're being grown for beauty. I'm building a garden for beauty, and those are the parents that I'll clone off to make my other fruit trees. But I'll plant more for commercial growing and stuff out in that triangle. They will be, I'll measure it with rulers and I'll run strings of twine and everything and make straight rows and everything. But not in the backyard. I got this good and full, pretty full. I'll probably dig out that backside and lay it down more. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. And it's kind of new me having all this water here, and I forgot about it when that fire broke out. I was still thinking about getting water from the other pond. I want to put a pump and a power in this one too. But I don't know if people have unsubscribed because they've gotten bored with this kind of content, maybe missed the construction worker content, or maybe they missed the conspiracy theory stuff, or if they're mad about me exercising free speech. I know a lot of things I say uh, there's a lot of layers of context to really understand, and it's easy to jump to conclusions and think that I mean or am saying something that I don't really mean. But it looks there's a few fruit trees that need some mulch, but I got most of them. There's these, I don't know, it was on a pear tree, but what was above the root graft died, and what was below the root graft has all these thorns in it. But I've successfully grafted apple down to a little stump and graft because a lot of this algae died. I'm gonna get off the live though. Get back to work. Just a show update.